So welcome back to the channel. Now for years we've been using many different awnings, inflatable awnings, pole awnings, etc. But we've decided to go for a Thule Omnistor fitted awning. And the people that are going to be fitting it are Rose Awnings here in Poole in Dorset, England. Now Dan is from Rose Awnings. He's the gentleman that we've been dealing with. He owns Rose Awnings and he's the person that fits them. So there's no better person to speak to in terms of specification and actually the fitting. So Dan, we're here and we've come to have the awning fitted. The first thing that Dan's going to do is look at the dimensions to see what size awning we can have fitted, and you'd have to go through exactly the same process should you choose to have one fitted to your motorhome or caravan. So Dan, if you want to talk us through the basics.
Like I was saying earlier, there's not really a perfect size for a customer. That awning has got to suit your needs. So you could basically have something that's quite small, that's manageable, or you could go for something that's a little bit bigger. It's going to maximise your space and kind of almost become like a full caravan awning. On this particular caravan, Riva, we are looking to position the awning in between the window and the door and then past the bunk bed windows at the back. Now that's going to give you a really nice space, and it's also not going to interfere with any kind of opening windows. It's going to kind of maximise your space, and what we feel is it's going to look right on the caravan. So you could potentially go for a smaller awning on this one, but there is a lot on the van to kind of contend with, like the fridge vents. You've got the central window there. So I mean, fitting a smaller awning may not be the best option. We personally believe that's going to be right for the caravan.
Now, if you stick around throughout this video, you'll see the fitting process and the awning that we've actually gone for, and you'll also see that this awning is going to be 12 volt. So Dan's going to tap into the 12 volt power supply on the caravan, so that the caravan is the awning is fully automated. You'll simply press a button inside and the awning will come out. So lovely for convenience.
And don't forget the LED lights.
And don't forget the LED lights. They'll also have LED lights, so it's going to be the envy of everybody on the campsite, but you'll also be able to see with it. So stick around and you'll see the process of this awning being fitted.
So here on top of Riva, we're just looking at the sample bracket that I'm going to use to actually install the awning onto. So this is going to be a platform that sits to the roof, which is mechanically bonded, so there's no actual fixings that are going to go through to the roof. So I mean, if your caravan's still in warranty, then this installation process isn't going to affect anything. We actually put a lifetime guarantee on our installation, so that's going to cover any kind of water ingress, bracket becoming unglued, which we wouldn't forecast in a million years. But this bracket is going to hug the roof of the caravan really nicely. So you can see there's a facility to put an LED light in here, which we're going to do. There's a nice little diffusing strip that goes over the top. And the nice thing about these brackets is because there's going to be end caps, there's a lot of space in here to actually enclose things like glands. And actually, in this instance, where it's quite tight up to this particular skylight, I can actually take sections out of the bracket to make it fit around those things. So this is going to be quite interesting. It's going to take me a bit of time. Bit of planning just to get the measurements right and make sure it's not going to interfere with this. But yeah, that's pretty much the process.
So we've been out for the morning. We've just been exploring the local area, and Dan's been cracking on with the awning essentially. We've got a rail on, haven't we, Dan?
Yeah.
And I think we know what size we're going for now, but I'll let Dan explain.
Yeah, so we've picked the 4.5 metre size. I think we discussed earlier. Full length bracket, so you can see it's starting before the edge of the window to just past the bunk bed windows. So it's going to work out really well in terms of size. I've pretty much finished the wiring, just needs tidying up now and a few things just putting back together. But basically, yeah, switch is installed down here. So I'll move these out of the way. It's got a nice little flippy cover. So it's out of sort of prying eyes. And if you did come out the caravan and accidentally kicked it, you're not going to activate the awning. The awning is actually on a relay, so when the power's on, the awning can be operated. As soon as you want to drive, you turn your power off, there's no way the awning can accidentally operate. There's a control box under this bench seat. There's some cabling that goes around to the battery compartment. That's pretty much it. There's some LEDs to go on soon. I'll hopefully get those wired tonight so you can use them, but we'll see. We're cutting it fine, but yeah, should be okay.
We keep disturbing you, that's why.
That's okay.
So am I right in saying that when people see you at the show, so you've just been to the NEC in Birmingham,
Yep.
you're going back again in February,
Yeah,
and
we'll
am I
do
right
that.
in saying that there is no one size fits all? You will have to have the vehicle, be it a camper van, motorhome or caravan, you'd have to have it here on site first to determine what awning would suit them.
I mean, we've been fitting awnings since 1995, so we know most vans, we know most pitfalls. We can generally work it out just by looking at a picture. It's just more down to the customer, and you feed them the information, make sure they're choosing the right thing. It's quite easy just to say, oh yeah, I want the biggest one. It's not necessarily going to work out perfectly. For example, if you went for a 5 metre awning on this, which a lot of people do, it's going to be up to here. It's going to be cutting a window. So if you did have a side panel, you know, that's a very popular window to open. I'd probably say like the M1s, middle ones, probably not so essential, but that's going to be where you're sat, and that's going to where you want some breeze. So yeah, I mean, it is a personal decision. We do kind of give the customers input, but ultimately they make up their own minds. But yeah, we don't necessarily have to see the vehicles. We can work that out.
And then like us, we've come down here and we've stayed locally at a caravan site, bought the caravan to Dan, he's fitted it, he's going to be on it for 2 days, purely on the basis that he's had to look at it first, and then we'll be having it back at the end of the second day, and that'll be it fitting complete. So we'll let Dan crack on now, and then we'll come back to it in a bit once he's fitted, and we can demonstrate the full awning. So we're back. As you can see, it's starting to go dark. Dan has got a home to go to. But we've come to just have a quick look at the progress, because ultimately we're going to take this Reaver now back to the campsite and then come back tomorrow. As you can see, Dan has fitted the rail, the Thule Omnistor 6300, 4.5 metre. It's all in place, ready to take the actual awning itself tomorrow, but I'll let Dan just explain what he's done in terms of fitment, etc.
So pretty much all the wiring got done today. So everything from the battery connection to the LED lights. Whoa. So they're on max brightness at the moment. You can dim them down. So there's a really nice soft dim to them. When they fade on and off, they don't just cut out. So they kind of fade on really nicely. That's almost like the piece de resistance.
So when people say what's the benefits of having one of these awnings, well, there's one of them, and it's a pretty big one. So a full awning light along the length of the awning rail, essentially. When you're in the awning, away you go.
It's going to illuminate your space. It's just makes it a bit more usable at night time, especially this time of year where it's going dark really quickly. So what we've actually done with this bracket is we've glued it to the roof of the caravan, which sounds really simple. There is a lot of hard work that's gone into it. The brackets actually had to be cut in certain areas, so it sits round certain things on the roof, like that skylight. We've also got a vent in the roof, which has just had to be modified slightly, just so that the awning will sit on top. And I'm actually using this sample to actually work out where the awning can be positioned without actually interfering with anything on the roof. There is LEDs to go in this bracket, which I haven't done just yet, but you can see it's fitted tightly to the roof. It's probably had about 3 hours to go off, so it should be pretty solid now, but we always let that bracket go off for about 24, just to be safe. It's a really fast curing adhesive. That's pretty much it. I mean, we've got the scan strut gland, which we use for everything. So that's a IP68 rated gland. It's really hard wearing, impact resistant, really nice form size, so they're not big and bulky. They don't go brittle in the sun like a lot of them do. But it's very well water sealed. And the nice thing about it is actually a mechanical gland, so there's no glue required for the hole in the roof. So if I ever need to pull that cable back through, if I ever need to replace anything, I don't actually have to like take that gland off the roof and remove the glue. There's one screw, the top cover pops off and you can pull the wires through. So it's a really nice part of the installation because it's totally repairable. But yeah, I mean, you can see the bracket's powder coated white, so it matches the caravan roof really nicely. If you did ever sell this caravan, you want to take the awning off, take it with you. All you'd need for your next caravan is another rail bonded. You know, that's going to set you back around about £450, £500 just to have the rail fitted. And then, yeah, you can use your new or your original awning, sit it on your new bracket, and you've got an awning on your new caravan. But you know, the owner of your old Caravan, all they'll need to do is buy one of them, plonk it on the roof. There's some bolts that come up from the back just to hold it in place. But yeah, it's designed to be kind of like a really modular system and future-proofed, basically.
And in terms of weight, Dan, because it's something that people are going to consider, does it add a great deal of weight?
So with the bracket and even the glue, you know, you're going to be adding around about 35 kilos. So depending on size and if you went for a full bracket or individuals, there are things that kind of make it lighter or heavier depending on your requirements. But yeah, around about the 35 kilo mark, roughly.
And interestingly, whilst that's cause for consideration in terms of payload, I suppose ultimately if you've got an air horn or anything like that, that's heavy anyway. So it's mitigating that, isn't it?
Depends if you carry it in the Caravan or not. But I mean, the thing is with this is it's weight that's distributed across the axle of the Caravan. And I mean, because it's a tag axle, it doesn't really come into it too much. But it doesn't affect the towing of the vehicle at all. And, you know, for whatever reason, you sold the Caravan and payload was a concern for the owner, it can come off. So it's not something that stays on there permanently. But yeah, there's a few things to go back together in your Caravan, but you know, I don't know where it goes. So yeah, no.
So what we will show later on in this video is we'll show the wiring coming into the Caravan. There's a piece of conduit essentially by the door, and Dan's gone behind the back of there to get to the switch that he's installed. And then the wiring goes round the benches, underneath the benches if you like, to the battery box where the wires then go to the standard battery that's on Reaver. So yeah, that's the end of day one. Very happy, thank you very much Dan. And we'll be back tomorrow for more. So we're back here at Rose Awnings again for day 2 of the installation of the Thule Omnistor roof awning. As you can see, Dan's just cleaning it up and doing a bit of sealant prior to fitting the actual awning itself. We're going to show you the demonstration of the awning working. We'll also talk to you about maintenance, warranty, and also how much you can expect to pay for a system like this on your Caravan. We'll also be looking at where you can stay locally if it is that you're coming to have an awning fitted. So while Dan is busy fitting the awning, I'll just show you, we've got a customer's Caravan here. They've already got the awning fitted, but this is a manual wind out version, and they've actually opted for the retrofit of the electronic motor. So Dan will be fitting that to this Caravan later on today. So that's something that you can get done. I also wanted to show you quickly, whilst we're here, the sort of kit that's available that Dan supplies from Thule, and he can help you fit. So he does roof bars for, as you can see, pickup trucks here, roof boxes. We've also got sturdy roof racks. And if you look to this side quickly, Dan's fitted an awning to the side of that roof rack. So something for every vehicle, be it a Caravan, motorhome, or even a pickup truck. There's different options available. And if you just come around here to this Volkswagen T6, you'll see fitted bike racks. Again, top box on the bars. And again, they've got an awning fitted here to the side of this T6. So you don't have to go out and buy things factory built, essentially. You could go and buy yourself a nice van and have an awning fitted to it and go camping in a much different way. Other than caravanning. So I think it's great, the versatility. I've always loved that about the camping industry. It doesn't matter what you've got, there's something for everybody. And whatever you tasted, caravans, campervans, motorhomes, there literally is something for everyone. So yeah, give Dan a ring at Rose Awnings and just see what's available for your vehicle. And I'm sure he'll help you along with it. So this is the exciting part now, the part that we've been waiting for. This will be the first time that we've actually seen the awning. And as you can see, Dan here is opening the box, removing the packaging, and here it is, the Thule Omnistor rollout awning. Look at that, in black to suit Reaver. So we've got the awning out the box. It's here, all the way from Belgium, and we're now going to attempt to fit it. And I'm going to give Dan a hand because I just want to play a little part in the fitment.
Normally I don't let the customers get involved. I say stand right back, but I've made a bit of an exception today, and we've had some training. So.
Yeah, we've done a trial run and that went okay, because if this doesn't, rest assured we did do one trial run and it was all right. Should we go for it?
Let's go.
Right. And also it lets me see just how heavy it is.
push back on it slightly. That's it. Perfect.
This doesn't make me a certified awning fitter, by the way. I'll just let Dan come this end so that he's happy with it.
That's good. Just going to push him back a little bit.
And as you can see, we've gone for black just to keep in line with all the black edition stuff that's on it. But there's two variants that are available, black and white. That's right, isn't it, Dan?
That is right.
And that's it. It's on. So as you can see here, the awning is now in place. Now Dan tells me that the weight of the awning is between 30 and 35 kilograms, so not too bad when you're considering your payload. Now Charlie's been a very good boy, ultra curious as ever, but very good. So now the awning itself is fitted onto the rail that Dan fitted yesterday, just up on the roof fitting these little captive nuts which just secure it to the bracket. And you'll see there they've got a little bit of a backing plate and a nut, and that goes onto the bolt that sits within the rail, and this just keeps it all nicely attached to the rail. And this is basically a good example of how it comes off. Should you ever sell your Caravan, you can undo these and take the awning actually back off.
So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm actually going to operate the awning out on the handle, because this awning is actually going to be motorised. I have to fit the motor, so from the factory they come with a standard gearbox on. But to actually do that, I've got to wind the awning out a fraction, tie the arms off with this nice Velcro we use, and then once the awning is secured on the Velcro, I can take the end off, put the motor on, and then start connecting up cables and things. But I'm going to do that now, and yeah, stay tuned.
So here Dan's just going to wind the awning out manually, and he's going to strap the support arms up so that at the point where he takes the manual assembly off the end of the awning, if we have any wind or there's a slight gust, it won't unfurl the awning and potentially damage it. So the straps are there just to ensure that the awning stays in place once this manual assembly is taken off. Charlie's still having fun while Dan's working around him, blissfully unaware of how hard Dan's working. We already have the positive and negative wiring already in place. So the wiring here, Dan's already spliced, ready to fit the motor and put the cable into the motor. The back end of that cable goes down to the battery, which he did previously. Now with this motor, he's already bench tested it, primarily just to make sure that when he wires it up to the Caravan, he knows that if there's any problems, it's Caravan related and not motor related. So it's just for peace of mind, basically. You don't want to be putting it back together without knowing that the motor works.
And when you do this, you just want to make sure that you're not missing any strands of wire.
Right.
So you need as many amps up to that motor as possible. If you miss a couple of strands, it could impact the performance of your motor.
Interesting.
It's the most common mistake people make when installing these. And that's why I use this tool. It's very gentle on the wires.
Yeah.
Gives you a really nice clean cut.
So you can see here Dan's just using a heat gun to add a little bit of heat to the connectors that he's fitted, and basically it just shrinks the rubber around the wiring connectors to make them watertight.
So the last thing to do is just put the fuse in the inline fuse holder, which is just in this battery bank here. So I'm going to put that in. Should give me a little spark. Things should start beeping, and then we can start using this awning.
So now we've got the awning fitted, we're just going to go a quick run through of its operation, how it works and what it looks like once it's out. So Dan's going to demonstrate it to us.
Cool. So this awning is actually motorised. We do manual versions, as I've discussed, but we decided to go electric on this one. So it's 12 volt, works off the battery. You have to have your power on, but I've actually fitted a switch down here. If you want to come in here, Becky, you can see there's a flippy cover, and I've purposely put that on there. It doesn't actually come with a kit. but I've supplied it just so you don't accidentally knock it with your foot. But what we're going to do is press the down button. That's going to operate it out. And when it gets out to about 1 metre, we're then going to stop the awning and drop the legs. So if I press that, doesn't have to be exactly 1 metre, but we normally say a reachable height. So for me, it's about there. Doesn't matter what direction you press that switch, and it will actually stop. Coming in underneath the awning now, you can see you've got your legs tucked up inside. They actually spring onto these pegs. So to take them out, you get your thumb or your finger, just pull back on the end, cup your hand on the end, and I'm just protecting the Caravan because they do swing this way. But with my hand on the end, you know, I'm in between the body of the Caravan, just protecting it. I've got my hand on the bottom of the foot, and I'm just holding my finger in this track. It will then slip to the floor, and you've got these levers. And the most common question we get asked is, my levers are stiff, they're not locking, what's happening? You have to put on a bit of force, and in fact, if you use your thumb, you probably think, oh, I'm going to break it. Use the palm of your hand and just lift them up. That is locked. They do not lock like that. They have to be up. So same again, I'll do this one faster. Like that. So now the awning's out, it's supported on the legs, so all the weight of the awning is taken off the Caravan, it's transferred to these legs. So what we do now, just continue on its journey, press it out, and I'm actually going to pick up the centre, like this. And if you want, you can walk one leg at a time like that, or you can just pick it up. What it's actually going to do in a minute, it's going to extend fully, all the fabric's going to come off the roller tube, and then it's actually going to tension itself backwards. So that is the awning fully deployed. I'm now going to drop the legs to a nice height. And a nice feature you do get with this awning are these tension arms. So they're actually inside. And they're actually like triangulated bars that have got some tabs. You pull them towards you and they swing out and they lock in like that. So when you've got sides on like the Isabella Buddy, they're going to make a big difference because it's going to stop any kind of deflection on this awning arm, because you're going to have bars that actually support the edges. These are going to stiffen the poles. That is pretty much it for the operation of the awning. I mean, there are some other tips I want to go through. So one of the big things is general care. So we get asked a lot about maintenance. They are relatively maintenance free, and the most important thing to do is just make sure the fabric is really nice and clean when you put it away. They can go away wet, just air it at your earliest convenience. If there's anything on top, and the last thing you want is that, you know, if that gets on your fabric and you roll it away, all that's going to happen is the organic material out of that is going to end up in the fibres of your fabric, and then you'll end up with like a henna tattoo. So not good. But yeah, if you need to get the leaves off, if the fabric's not wet, most of the time you can just bang them off like that. You can drop it down nice and low, and sometimes if it's a little bit wet you can hoik them off. But yeah, putting away wet is fine otherwise. A nice little tip I like to say to customers is you can use silicone spray on anything. It's good stuff, but I prefer dry PTFE spray. That's actually made by WD-40, and it's very good on anything that moves, so any kind of joints that may creak over time. If you give it a little spray, and a big example is actually the top arm joint. There's some bushings, and after about a year you do get a bit of a creak. Dry PTFE, spray it, you won't hear any noise for like the next 3 years. So really, really good stuff. So we've gone over operation, we've gone over care. General maintenance, there's not really anything other than keeping it clean and giving it a spray. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
I do also come with a windy handle, so should the motor fail for whatever reason, or if the electrics become dislodged, you've actually got a manual handle, haven't you, Dan, so you can wind it back in should anything go wrong.
Only ever used in emergencies.
Yeah.
But it's there if you ever need it. So my favourite part of the installation process is when a customer says yes to LED lights. So actually use these touch control dimmers. They're actually on a magnetic base, so you can actually put them up wherever you want. They come with a little sticky pad, but yeah, so it's an on-off power button. Lights fade on lovely. There is actually a setting where you can control how quickly they fade on and off. I mean, how they come is pretty good anyway. But yeah, on and off on the single button. And then you've actually got this sliding section. If I hold my finger on it and I slide that down, the LEDs will dim right down. So until the point where they're barely visible. And it's a really nice steady fade. So that's on max brightness. And because they're actually in behind the diffuser, it hides a lot of the dots on the LEDs. So at night time, it just looks like a continual light bar. So something that I've been really impressed with these remote controls. They're not made by Thule, we source them ourselves. But yeah, this is part of an installation we can do for you. LEDs, we charge anywhere from about 180 upwards, so depending on the length.
So for anybody interested in having one of these awnings fitted to either their caravan, motorhome or camper van, Dan has kindly offered us a discount code, which he'll explain to us now.
Yeah, so anyone that's looking for an installation on a caravan, motorhome or van, if you quote code REVA, we'll actually supply you with a set of straps for the awning, which will just anchor it down. We recommend them to everyone, and a rafter for the centre. So what we've got here is a rafter for the middle. I'm actually going to remove it, but I'm going to show you how it fits at the same time. So it's just like that, two pieces, sprung loaded, in the middle. And when it goes in, I fit the bracket just at the top there. It just sits onto like that. Pull back, it goes into there like that. So what that's going to do, it's going to stop the water from pooling in the middle of the awning, and it's going to add a great bit of tension to this. So taking this out, like that, pull the two sections apart, I'm going to pop that down, and the next thing I'm going to do is release these. So the tension arms, very important that you take these off. If you've got a manual awning, not so much the electric, but if you've got a manual and you tried to wind the awning in with these on, one, it's going to be really stiff, but two, if you keep going on it, you will eventually bend that. You won't bend that thin a bit, you'll bend that, and it's quite an expensive mistake. So push on there, they swing away. And the big thing that people do wrong with these is when they clip them away, they'll try push them there. You have to lift them up a bit because they actually clip into a track behind and you'll hear it click. If you try and push it lower, what you'll end up doing is flattening the tooth on the back, and then they just won't click away at all. You can buy replacement ends, so it's not the end of the world. So same again, push on the arm, swing it away, lift it up slightly, click. Now the biggest thing that you need to do when you wind this away, and I'd hold the arm here rather than holding it here, lift it up a little bit on both the legs, because the awning, when you wind it away, is naturally going to want to go up in the air, and you want to keep these legs on the ground for as long as possible. So you're going to angle it in a little bit. We are on slippery grounds, we've just got to watch the legs don't slip away. Just going to angle in a little bit. Now we may have to press the motor a couple of times just to get it to function and go away properly. But lift the cover up, press the in button, and there we go, it starts going away. So the biggest thing now is, because we're on a slippery surface, just stop it, walk the legs. On grass or hard standing, it's not going to be so important to walk the legs this often, because I'm being very cautious of the slippery surface. And you could almost do this in one motion, but as you can see, I'm just getting a little bit cautious. If it's windy, I recommend two people do this. One person just holding it in the middle, because last thing you want happening is a freak gust of wind, take it up in the air. It is a big sail, we do try and remind people. Now if you're quick with this, and the more confident you can get, you can actually put the legs whilst it's still going away. I don't recommend you doing it, but you know, if you want to be a show off, it does look cool. But when the legs go away, undo the locking lever, and I'll show this better on the other side. Undo it, so the leg is sprung loaded. You're going to want to pull back on that foot, and it's going to spring onto that peg there. I prefer to have these feet that way around. I just find it easier to get in and out. So again, undo that lever, you'll see it will drop, take it to the top, and keeping my finger in that trap so it doesn't slide, and then clip that flat, swing it up, spin that foot round, away like that. So once you're competent with this, I mean, Chris Hooper, he says he can do this in 45 seconds, so no pressure. But Chris, I think I can do it in 30, so you know. You can see it's going away on its own now, and in a minute it'll be fully closed up and ready to travel. Ta-da!
Well, one thing we wanted to discuss with Dan quickly now is what you can expect to pay, so costing, and also how soon you can have one fitted. So if you see Rose Awnings at a show, how soon you can have an awning fitted with them. So Dan will go through that with us now.
Yeah, so I mean, roughly an awning like this, manually operated, you'd be looking anywhere from a region of around about 1350 upwards. Sizes range from 2.6 all the way up to 6 metre. I mean, a lot of caravans, the maximum we would recommend is a 5 metre. So that's your kind of ballpark price. In terms of availability, normally we're on about 2 to 4 week lead time. I mean, people normally give us ample time. They tend to plan their trips well in advance, so that gives us time. But yeah, it's a service we can offer. You know, we're contactable by email, telephone, on our socials, but we do prefer email. Yeah, that's it.
So you've seen throughout this video basically that Dan and Rose Awnings are essentially Thule stockists, suppliers and installers. So we are keen to stress that there are other awning manufacturers out there. However, Rose Awnings only specifically fit Thule. So they're the awnings that you're going for, but you can get the different sides. Obviously, we're looking at the Isabella buddy sides for this. So that's something that we'll show later on when they become available. We'll be fitting the buddy sides to this awning. So that's it. That's the installation. You can get in touch with Dan via email. I'll drop the link to the email below. They're also on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. So you'll be able to see all of their content on there and what they provide. You'll also catch them at the February show. But for now, I want to thank Dan for the installation. Thank Thule for the awesome product. And you'll see us out and about with this new awning. So we hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe. Go and give Dan a follow at Rose Awnings and on all of his socials. And we'll see you on the next one. So there was no way that we could finish this video without showing the awning fully set up in all its glory. Thankfully we were staying for another night at South Lightship, so you'll see here in the next clip the awning set up looking absolutely stunning. So here we are, this is a bit of an outro now because we've finished with Dan at Rose Awnings and we've actually been staying here at South Lightship Manor, also known as Campsite Dorset on socials. And I just wanted to show you the awning set up in its natural environment, if you like. So, and just to take a closer look. So these storm straps are actually being supplied by Rose Awnings if you use code REVA10 when ordering an awning and a fitting service. So Dan's throwing the storm straps in. He's also throwing in the centre storm beam, which is collapsible, which also helps with windy conditions and stops the canopy bowing and water collecting. But as you can see, I mean, my first impressions are just sheer quality. The quality of the awning is incredible. It was ridiculously simple to set up. As Dan demonstrated in the video, you just press the button and out comes the awning. And also we've got the awning light. If you want to see more of this awning, hop over to our TikTok at Touring with Reva. As we leave Rose Awnings, we just want to say thank you again. And it's goodbye from me and Lucky the dog. We'll see you on the next one. Don't know where we'll be, but we're forever touring. Thanks for watching.